Yep, I'm just starting one right now.
How many more are you doing?
I have 2 languages left. All right, you guys. I'm sorry I got a little bit behind yesterday, but I am catching up today. So this lesson I'm doing right now was actually for Tuesday, but I'm doing it Tuesday night. So if you haven't done it yet, we'll do it together. All right, so circle the direct objects in the following paragraph and underline the indirect objects. Not every sentence contains objects. All right, let's look at these together and see how we do. So the communists took control of Russia in 1917 and organized a tight dictatorship. All right, so let's look at the verb here. So the communists took, what did they take? They took control. So don't be confused. Let's put of Russia and in 1917 in fact, let's just go through the whole thing. Get rid of our prepositional phrases. They told the other countries of the world lies about conditions in Russia. Everyone likes the new government, they said, but then many famous Russians left the country. 3 of these men were Igor Sikorsky, Sergei Rachmaninoff, and Igor Stravinsky. Sikorsky had built the world's the first 4-engine airplane and the first practical helicopter. He came to America and established a special aircraft company. Both Rachmaninoff and Stravinsky were composers. By the way, Rachmaninoff is my favorite composer. I like him. I don't listen to him enough. They gave the world many beautiful pieces of music. All of these men missed their Russian homeland, but they wanted freedom above all else. I think that's preposition, above all. Man, that's a little tricky. It might just be above all and not with else. Okay. Sikorsky, Rachmaninoff, and Stravinsky made great contributions to society. Or else I will. Else might be like a connector. Okay, I'm still thinking about that, sorry. And lived happy lives, but they were always saddened by the thoughts of the Russian people under the iron rule of the communists. Okay, and why do I do that? Because prepositional phrases are not going to be direct or indirect objects. So if we get rid of them, that way we don't think of them. Okay? All right, so the communists, what did they take? They took control. So this is a direct object. Okay? No, took control. See, I'm rethinking now. That might be a verb because you can you control? You can control something. Nope, but here it's being used as a noun. Okay, I'm okay. Oh, what was I supposed to do? I was supposed to circle it. Let me circle it. And organized a tight dictatorship. So they also organized a dictatorship. So the communists took control. You don't have to do that arrow. And they organized dictatorship. Okay? They told the other countries, so they told the other countries lies. Okay, so here's an example. What did they tell? They told lies, so that's the direct object, to countries about conditions. Oh, isn't about conditions a prepositional phrase? Oh, in Russia. Totally missed that too. Were you yelling at me because I missed those? All right, everyone likes the new government, they said. So everyone likes government. So government is a direct object. But then many famous Russians left the country. So Russians left what? The country. 3 of the men were Igor Stravinsky, and this is not a direct object because this is not an action verb. This is actually a predicate nominative. Actually, all 3 of these guys are predicate nominatives. Three were Igor Sikorsky, Sergei Rachmaninoff, and Igor Stravinsky. Sikorsky had built the world's first four-engined airplane. So he built this airplane and helicopter. He came to America, and see, that's not a direct object. It feels like a direct object, but it's not, because it's a prepositional phrase. He came to America and established, so he came and established a what? A company. Both Rachmaninoff and Stravinsky were composers. This is a predicate nominative, because this were is a state of being verb. They gave, that's an action verb. What they give? They give pieces. This is a good reason why we got rid of that prepositional phrase, because you might want to say they gave music, right? Which is what they did. But for grammar purposes, it's pieces is the direct object. They gave pieces to the world. That's the indirect object. All missed their Russian homeland. So they all missed, that's an action verb, homeland. They missed the homeland. And they wanted freedom. Another direct object. Sikorsky, Rachmaninoff, and Stravinsky made great contributions. So they made contributions. And lived lives. Happy lives, but that's an adjective. They were always saddened. And the rest are just prepositional phrases, so they cannot be direct objects or indirect objects. Okay? Don't worry about right B. Think C. Identify the bold words as direct objects or indirect objects by putting I-O or D-O in the blank. I think I'm going to have you do that one on your own. Let me look at the next page. Definitely. So do 1 through 8 on your own. So read it and determine if it's a direct object or an indirect object. Put I-O or D-O in the blank. Okay? Let me go to the next page. A new thing we're learning. All right. So the question is it an indirect object or is it an object of the preposition? I think you already kind of know all this because we've been making such a big deal about prepositional phrases. So let's just go right down to the sentences. Okay? So look at this. Tell me a story of Jesus. All right? So if the underlined word is an indirect object, write I-O. If it's an object of the preposition. Well, what is of Jesus? You guys know that. It's a prepositional phrase. Okay. The mother read a story to her young child. Now, had they wrote that differently, had they wrote, the mother read her child a story, then child would be an indirect object, because the mother read a story, direct object, to the child, indirect object. But here, to her young child, what is that? It's a prepositional phrase. John drew the ball. He threw the ball to Drew. And Drew is not in a prepositional phrase. But remember I said when you look for it, you say the word to, which kind of makes it a prepositional phrase in your head, but it's not written as a prepositional phrase on the paper. Haley gave the teacher her lunch money. Well, Haley gave money to teacher. So it's an indirect object. The mailman handed the package to Mrs. Parks, and right away, you guys have prepositional phrase radar, and you can see what that is. So OP. Ryan tossed the football to Joel. Prepositional phrase. The apprentice sent Mr. Hall a letter of recommendation. By the way, that's a prepositional phrase, so don't even look at it. So if we're labeling it, the apprentice is the subject, subject S. Sent, what did he send? A letter, direct object, to Mr. Hall is the indirect object. Senator Mills introduced the new bill to the Congress. To the Congress is not a prepositional phrase. Autumn baked a cake for her father, prepositional phrase. Stephen gave his girlfriend some flowers. Stephen is the subject. He gave flowers to his girlfriend. Okay? Don't worry about this. All right, so all you're going to do is the bottom of page 155. All right? Shouldn't be any problem for you. Have a good day, guys. Now I'm going to do the next lesson right away.